issue that the pound for pound king, Terence Bud Crawford, has agreed in principle to face off against the 4-division world champion, Mexican superstar, first ballot Hall of Famer, Saul Canelo Alvarez. So Canelo Alvarez has agreed. Terence Crawford, we knew he was going to agree. And they're working out the details to showcase their talents. Riyadh season, Cinco de Mayo weekend in May.
Hate me, but I think it's a 50-50 fight.
Hell of a fight. Hell of a fight.
Hate me, but I think it's a 50-50 fight. It's really, really hard for me to see Canelo losing to Crawford. But it's also, there's things that I can see that Crawford is so good at.
Yeah.
That it's like, I can't see him not being able to be sharp and do that round after round, man. I don't know.
Some boxing experts believe Crawford's elite technique and ring intelligence give him a real chance, even against someone as dangerous as Canelo. Among them, Saber Longa says Crawford's exceptional talent could help him succeed despite the tough circumstances.
I think it happened in boxing, you know what I'm saying? And Terence Crawford is a legend. He's great. He's a great fighter. The only thing I see that I favor Canelo is that, you know, is his weight.
Yeah.
And that he's more bigger. You know what I'm saying? That's the only thing. But as far as skill set wise, IQ, I feel like Crawford can match anybody and probably do way better. You know what I'm saying? But you know, Crawford is a legend, bro.
Yeah.
You know, and like I said, you can't.
Crawford is entering the conversation after his recent victory at welterweight. But the jump to challenge Canelo in a heavier division is raising serious doubts. The trainer believes the move could simply be asking too much, pointing to the size gap as a major factor.
He possibly do at this point to regain that status is to beat someone of note in another weight class.
Terence Crawford moving up to around 154 pounds is seen by some as a manageable transition, and many believe he can compete effectively at that weight.
4 is going to be enough for him. Him going up to fighting, quote unquote, if it should happen, Canelo, I don't see that ending well. It's just too much and too far to go. But that's what it.
The debate now is simple. Is Crawford pushing beyond his limits, or is this another chance for him to prove doubters wrong? If he can handle the extra weight and neutralize Canelo's strength, it could become one of the biggest upsets in recent boxing history. Saul Alvarez has opened up about the possibility of facing Terence Crawford, adding even more buzz to a matchup that has already captured the attention of boxing fans around the world.
Yes, it is official that the pound for pound king, 4-division world champion, 2-division undisputed world champion, and reigning WBA junior middleweight world champion, superstar boxer, Terence Bud Crawford, future first ballot Hall of Famer, undefeated, 41 wins, no loss, no draw, 31 big wins by way of knockout, 37 years of age, 5'8" with a 74-inch arm reach, has agreed in principle. We knew he was going to agree to face off against the 4-division world champion, Mexican superstar, first ballot Hall of Famer, former undisputed super middleweight world champion, and reigning unified super middleweight world champion, Saul Canelo.
Saul Alvarez has signaled that he's open to stepping into the ring with Terence Crawford, adding even more momentum to a fight many fans have been hoping to see.
His name keeps coming up, and I know he's a lot smaller than you. Is that a fight that you would ever consider under any circumstance?
You know, I always say if it's a fight.
Crawford, meanwhile, is recognized as one of the most complete fighters of his generation. His success has come from exceptional technique, ring awareness, and the ability to adapt to any style in front of him. Those qualities have helped place him among the best pound-for-pound fighters in the sport.
The fight, he's made it clear. Do fights like that help your legacy, or do you feel like that's something that's not worth it to you?
Everything in my career, every fight make my legacy different and better. No, Terence Crawford is a great fighter.
As discussions grow about Crawford moving up in weight, many continue to question whether he can handle the physical demands against a naturally bigger champion. Canelo, however, appears fully confident in how that matchup would play out.
Be willing to pay whatever you want to fight Crawford.
Fine.
Yeah.
if he's willing to pay whatever I want, comes down.
That'll work. Yeah, so if
yeah,
you're in. So if the numbers were right with Crawford, you'll do it.
Why not? Why not? I think Crawford, don't get me wrong, he's a great fighter. But for me, in my weight class, it's an easy fight. For me, easy money.
Given his long record of dominating elite opponents at super middleweight, Canelo appears to view a potential matchup as one where his physical advantages could play a major role. At the same time, he also recognizes the commercial appeal of such a fight, treating it as an opportunity that could carry significant financial rewards alongside the sporting spotlight.
I'm in because, I don't like to fight guys like Crawford because he move a lot and the fight is not that great. I saw Crawford the last fight and he don't move that much now. So
while he does recognize Crawford's ability and overall skill level, Canelo remains firm in his belief that moving up in weight brings clear physical advantages that cannot be ignored. From his perspective, those natural differences at super middleweight would still be a decisive factor.
Everybody wants to fight me. Everybody calling me out and everything. And like I say, I have nothing to win with Crawford. 2-3 ways class.
I respect Crawford. He's a great fighter, and I always say that. No disrespect him, but sometimes it's a little crazy that people talking about a small fighter like Charlo. He's big, which he is big, and everybody's talking about if I'm gonna face Crawford, fighter 147, who is smaller than Charlo. So no make sense when you guys say that right now. At the end of the day, I don't want to have credit to face Crawford, but you never know. You never know in boxing. I'll go up and down and fight everybody out there. So it's possible. Why not?
Meanwhile, Terence Crawford continues to push forward with clear determination to secure the matchup, showing willingness to move up in weight in order to test himself against the very best.
Down anymore, but like he say, when they ask him for the Germonta fight, they don't want to get credit for that fight. It's the same for me. I don't need to take that fight because everybody's gonna say it's too small, and then he need to enjoy.
Terence Crawford understands clearly that stepping into the ring with Saul Alvarez would come with a notable physical disadvantage.
It's to Jamel, and then you guys fight. That fight would be gigantic.
And it's crazy because, like, in the past interviews, I was like, man, Canelo too big, man. It's weight classes for a reason. I was like, nah. But in my mind, in my heart, I don't think nobody too big, especially in a fight. I'm a fighter. But, like, I was thinking, like, man, it could happen. So you start really sitting down like, man, that fight maybe can happen. Okay, so
Thurman pointed to moments from Canelo's performance against Jermall Charlo, suggesting there were phases in the fight where certain tendencies or openings could be observed. In his view, those instances might be enough to give Crawford confidence when studying the matchup.
But I'm faster, so then you start doing the advantages. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But like, man, we right there.
Yeah.
We right there, you know what I mean? So I was like, man.
And it's not like he didn't go up in weight as well.
However, he also noted that those same adjustments came with a downside: Charlo's reduced output on offense. That lack of consistent counterpunching, according to Thurman, allowed Canelo to take control of the fight and maintain dominance throughout key stretches.
And when Canelo fought Charlo, besides the knockdown, Charlo was able to protect himself very well against Canelo's onslaught. The only problem was, while protecting himself, there was no off.
The breakdown of Jermall Charlo's approach highlights how he leaned heavily on defense to limit damage, but in doing so, he offered fewer offensive responses. That balance or lack of it is something Crawford may look to exploit by pairing disciplined defense with controlled, well-timed body work and counterpunching.
Seeing what I saw, I believe Crawford saw the same thing. If Charlo can go so untouched by just being, you know, once he got dropped, he, you know, spider senses, boom, fully awakened, right? Boom. So now hands up, don't make no mistakes. So, you know, that's how it is. We saw it in the Munguia fight. You know, we saw it in the last fight. It's those little mistakes that end up having big consequences against Canelo.
Known for his outspoken analysis, Smith broke down the matchup as a classic contrast between Crawford's refined boxing ability and Canelo's power combined with physical strength. He made it clear that both fighters are exceptional in their own right, each bringing elite-level credentials into the conversation.
Trash. Don't ever compare Crawford to Canelo again. Shout out young Triple G. He did his I felt he won. At least a draw. The judges, you weirdos, you guys suck ass. And Crawford, you're not pound for pound. Suck it. You never fought nobody good. You fought Spence that had a car accident.
He suggested that Crawford's technical boxing could create problems for Canelo, especially in the early and middle rounds where movement, timing, and accuracy matter most. However, he also pointed out a major concern. Crawford may not carry the same stopping power at the higher weight, which could make it harder to keep Canelo from pressing forward.
It could be trouble, but I would still say it would be a very interesting fight. I just believe that Crawford hasn't been in the ring with anybody this powerful, and I'm wondering whether he could stay away. Again, Crawford is the superior boxer, but if he can't hurt Canelo, you can't keep him off of him. And that's where the problem lies.
What do you think a win like that would do for Crawford? Would that put him
I
up
think it was
Robinson, Mayweather?
He and I spoke about it.
On one side, Crawford's elite-level boxing skill could expose moments where Canelo relies too heavily on power and forward pressure. On the other side, Canelo's strength, size, and knockout threat could be enough to disrupt Crawford's rhythm and limit his technical flow. That contrast is exactly why fans and analysts remain divided on how the fight would actually play out.
Very powerful individual who can get exposed by a boxer because every shot he throws, he's trying to make it a power shot. But to me, can Crawford hurt him? I would pick Crawford to win if he can box and stay away. I don't believe he can hurt Canelo. And if Canelo catches him, it could be trouble. But I would still say it would be a very interesting fight. I just believe that Crawford hasn't been in the ring with anybody this powerful. And
the common narrative around a potential clash between Saul Alvarez and Terence Crawford continues to center on one major question: whether Crawford's elite skill and boxing IQ can overcome the clear advantages in size, strength, and physicality that Canelo would bring.
Terence Crawford, yes, there is weight classes for a reason. Canelo is a lot bigger. Crawford he also has a good size swing where he has that good size and he has that reach and he has that boxing IQ. That's the most important thing when it comes to a boxing game, is the IQ. You know, I think Crawford will hold his own very good in that fight. But I will lean a little bit more towards Canelo given the fact that he's more experienced and he's been in there with...
According to these discussions, Crawford could even be viewed as a leading candidate for Canelo's return to the ring in May, although no official date or confirmation for a bout at the T-Mobile Arena in Las Vegas has been announced yet.
Serious about fighting Canelo Alvarez?
Of course.
I know you're serious, but I've got to ask you for the people that are watching.
Of course
Are
I'm
you
serious.
confident that fight is a fight that you can win?
Well, I'm always confident that I can win any fight that I step foot in the ring. You know, Canelo is a big, strong competitor. He's a great fighter. He's a future Hall of Famer. And that's what we in the game for, is to leave a legacy that will last.
While Crawford's technical brilliance, adaptability, and ring intelligence are widely respected, Porter's viewpoint emphasizes the danger that comes with facing a fighter like Canelo, who has consistently shown fight-ending power at higher weight classes. From that perspective, even small mistakes could carry major consequences.
2 more weight classes. Like, once he gets touched by Canelo, it's going to be different.
I am concerned about him absorbing a Canelo punch, especially through the course of 12 rounds. We do know this about Canelo. He's going to slow down, you know, so I think if anything, Canelo would try to start fast and bang on him and break him down before he gets later, and he still got that kind of steam. But, you know, there's so many components that make a champion. There's so many components that make a great, a legend. It's just so much to go into. It's a conversation that lasts an hour easily when we talk about all of the components that Terence Crawford has, all of the components that Canelo have, and how we find how they even out and who trumps one another. You know what I mean? We tried to do that with Errol Spence and Terence Crawford, and we see how that panned.
It is commonly understood that due to pay-per-view strategy, May is typically preferred for major Mexican boxing events held in the United States. In terms of opponents, Crawford is not the only name being considered for Canelo's next defense of the unified super middleweight title.
Terence Crawford. I think Crawford is looking at, just a huge fight with Canelo, and if he doesn't get it, he might not even fight anymore, because he's told me that before. But there's so many other fights out there too. We'll just take it fight by fight.
On the other side, Crawford is 37, making him the older fighter in this pairing. Even so, he has not shown any clear drop in performance, and many feel he is still operating at an elite level. The concern, however, is that age-related decline can arrive suddenly, and if it were to show up in a high-level fight like this, it could be the wrong moment and the wrong opponent for it to happen. If Crawford is not the next opponent for Canelo in May, the question becomes, who else would step in for that date? But if the matchup does get finalized for May 3rd, it would be one of the boldest fights in boxing, a true high-risk, high-reward showdown that would capture global attention. That point, everything comes down to the classic debate. Can Crawford's precision, timing, and boxing IQ overcome Canelo's strength and power, or will the size and physical advantage be too much to handle? It's the kind of matchup that divides opinions, and fans will definitely have a lot to say. Share your thoughts in the comments.